We are finding the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. They're asking us to find the what? The inverse of matrix that they're calling B. And here's our matrix here. And then it gives us some qualifiers that non-integers should be given either as decimals or simplified fractions. Okay, so let's go ahead and the inverse, so B to the -1, the B inverse is going to be equal to 1 over the determinant of B times the adjunct of B. All right, and then we'll just go through the process of what the adjugate is and the determinant. Okay, so let's go ahead and find the determinant first. So the determinant of B is going to be the diagonals multiplied with each other, subtracted by the other diagonals. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll do this separately. We'll put it as a denominator right here. So we'll take the inverse of it basically. Got to be careful about too many inverses. We don't want to confuse what's really going on here. So let's go ahead and do that. So the determinant is going to be -5 times 2. So this is equal to -5 times 2 minus 7 times -1. All right, let's go ahead and do this. This is -10 plus 7. It looks like -3 is our answer here for the determinant. Then let's go ahead and find the adjunct. So the adjunct is going to be, adjugate. I keep saying adjunct. It's the adjugate. The adjugate is going to be, well, the trick here is we flip or switch the first set of diagonals. So the first set of diagonals, so instead of -5, 2, it's 2, -5. So we go ahead and switch those, and then we negate or do the opposite of the other diagonal. So this becomes a -7 and a +1. And that's how we would just do the adjugate. So it's just a process of going through this procedure, and that gets us what we want. So we'll go ahead and just multiply that by 1 over -3, and that should give us our inverse of the matrix. So let's go ahead and do our final answer right here. So that's going to be B inverse is going to be equal to 1 over -3. So it's the inverse of this or reciprocal of this. So that would be our reciprocal of -3, which is 1 over -3. And the adjunct is 2, -7, 1, and -5. And then we want to simplify. We don't want to have our scalar floating out here. So this turns into the final answer, 2 over -3. You're just having, since there's no fractions here, you're just throwing a -3 on the bottom everywhere. So that would be a +7 over 3. The negative and the negative reduce or cancel. And then we got 1 over -3. And negative cancel. That's 5 over 3. So remember, what does this do? What's the point of finding the inverse? If you multiply it by the original matrix, it will give us the identity matrix. So it's how we would undo this matrix right here. Let's go ahead and fill in our answer. See how we did. 2 divided by -3 and 7 divided by 3 and 1 divided by -3. I'm missing a little division sign right there. There we go. don't like missing anything. And then 5 over 3. Now let's just remind ourselves about the negative sign. It should not matter where the negative sign goes, on the top, on the bottom, or out front. They're all equivalent statements, so this should be fine for the negative sign, at least for this first column here. All right, let's see what we did wrong. There was some issue somewhere. Let's see. Let's go through the work. It's always good to do error analysis. Switch colors to a blue. All right, so let's just go ahead and follow through the process, see where the mistake was made. All right, so 1 over the determinant. Let's check the determinant. Determinant, -5 times 2 is -10, check. And -1 times 7 is +7. So -1 times 7 is -7, and that's a negative right there. We're subtracting these two. So that would be a plus. So that's -3 is the determinant. That seems fine. That goes in the bottom of our fraction right here, times the adjugate. Got it right that time. The adjugate is I swap the -5 and the 2 to a -5, and I negate the 1 and -7. So that would be the 2 and -5, check. -7, +1, yes. This distributes through, and 2 over -3, yes. +7 over 3, yes. -1 over 3, yes. Negative and a negative make a positive. All right, so maybe they are being, I don't know, overly sensitive about the negative, or it's not formatted correctly. It should not matter where that negative sign is, but let's go ahead and see if that fixes it. Everything else looks the same or looks good. So we're just putting it in the top, fine. We're just putting it in the top, fine. Let's see, one more try. Gee, so that's a bunch of garbage. It should be fine on the bottom. It doesn't matter on the top, on the bottom, or out in front, but that's fine. It's part of the process. So now I'll just go ahead and remember that they're a little bit, their programming is not very good here, so that the negative does have to go on top here. And everything, this one's a little bit easier. We have a 0 floating around, but the process is going to be the same.